Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. Today we will talk about the future territories of Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates, and also, primarily, the territories of their rivals, the other Yonkus, such as Shanks and Blackbeard. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, discussing the territories of the Yonkou in One Piece is something that requires a deep dive into the history and dynamics of the world created by Eiichiro Oda. Each of these sea emperors, both the old and the new ones, has an immense impact on the narrative and geography of the world. I believe their territories are not only a reflection of their power, but also of their personalities, ambitions, and the influence they exert over the seas. Starting with the old Yonkou, we have Shanks, Kaido, Big Mom, and Whitebeard. In chapter 432, the concept of the four emperors is mentioned for the first time, laying the foundation for understanding the power balance in the new world. I think the division of territories between them is not just a matter of military control, but also of economic and cultural influence. Each of these Yonkou governs their territories like small independent kingdoms, with their own laws, cultures, and alliances. Whitebeard, for example, is known for protecting the islands under his flag, as shown in chapter 157 during the events of Jaya. His presence is synonymous with safety for those living in his areas of influence, such as the Fishman Island mentioned in chapter 621. I believe Whitebeard didn't see his territories just as a means of power, but as a responsibility. He seemed to believe that protecting the weak was part of his duty as the world's strongest man. Big Mom, as we see in Whole Cake Island, ruled Todo Land, an archipelago formed by dozens of islands. In chapter 827, we discover that she not only controlled these islands, but also imposed her vision of a world where all races could coexist. However, this came at a high price, as she demanded absolute loyalty and regular tributes. I think Big Mom viewed her territories as an extension of herself, reflecting her obsession with creating a perfect family and a world that catered to her desires. Kaido, on the other hand, ruled Wano, as revealed in chapter 929. Wano is an isolated country, protected by its mountains and the decision of its leaders to avoid contact with the outside world. Under Kaido's control, Wano became a fortress, used for weapon production and as a base for his experiments with Smile. I believe Kaido saw Wano not just as a territory to rule, but as a means to achieve his ultimate goal of creating the greatest war the world has ever seen. His control over Wano was both strategic and symbolic, as it demonstrated his absolute power. Shanks, the most mysterious of the Yonkou, doesn't have his territory explicitly detailed in the story. However, we know that he exerts influence in several areas of the New World and is respected by both allies and enemies. In chapter 434, we see his relationship with other pirates and his ability to negotiate with the world government. I think Shanks uses his influence diplomatically, preferring to avoid unnecessary confrontations and maintaining the power balance in the New World. With Whitebeard's fall, we saw a significant shift in the Yonkou territories. In chapter 581, it is revealed that Blackbeard began taking the territories that were once protected by Whitebeard. I think this shows how quickly the power balance can shift in the world of One Piece. Blackbeard not only took over the territories, but also brought a new style of leadership based on fear and manipulation. The new Yonkou, including Luffy and Buggy, also bring a new dynamic to the New World. Luffy, by defeating Kaido in chapter 1050, not only freed Wano, but also solidified his position as one of the new Yonkou. I think this marks the beginning of a new era, where the territories of the Yonkou will be defined not only by brute strength, but also by the ability to inspire and lead. Buggy, on the other hand, is a surprising choice for Yonkou, but it makes sense within the narrative. In chapter 1058, we see how he uses his influence and manipulation to create the Cross Guild, an organization that challenges the world government's bounty system. I think Buggy represents a completely different approach to the idea of territories, using alliances and unconventional strategies to consolidate his power. Bartolomeo, the self-proclaimed #1 fan of Luffy, emerged as one of the boldest names to challenge the power balance, particularly turning his attention to the territories of Shanks, the red hair. His blind admiration for Luffy led Bartolomeo to take actions that many would consider insane, but in his mind, they were gestures of loyalty to the future Pirate King. He began invading territories under Shanks' control, declaring them as Straw Hat properties, which quickly caught the red-haired's attention. In chapter 875, it is mentioned that Bartolomeo burned a flag of Shanks' crew and hoisted the Straw Hat flag in its place. This act was not just a direct challenge to Shanks' authority, but also a sign of how Bartolomeo did not fully understand the political implications of his actions. I believe that while Bartolomeo is courageous and loyal, he underestimated the weight of messing with one of the most respected Yonkou. Shanks is not just a powerful pirate, but also a mediator who maintains order in the New World. When Bartolomeo began taking territories from the red-haired, he inadvertently put not only himself, but also the reputation of the Straw Hats at risk. Maybe Bartolomeo was able to take some smaller territories on the periphery of Shanks' influence, but he never had the power or resources to effectively maintain control of those locations. It's possible that he relied on his berry barinomi fruit to defend himself from initial attacks, but Shanks' subordinates are experienced fighters who surely found ways to deal with this ability. In Chapter 892, we see that Shanks values loyalty and respect among pirates, but is also firm in defending his honor and his allies. I think that when Shanks decided to act against Bartolomeo, he did so not only to protect his territories, but also to send a message to the world that his authority would not be easily challenged. Now, considering the future and possible territories of the Straw Hat Pirates, Elbaf emerges as one of the most promising locations. From the beginning, Elbaf has been portrayed as the land of the most powerful warriors, with a rich culture and a history deeply connected to the world of One Piece. In Chapter 866, we learn about the connection between the giants of Elbaf and Big Mom's story, as well as the reverence these warriors have for their honor and tradition. I believe that once Luffy and his crew form an alliance with the giants of Elbaf, this territory could naturally become an extension of the Straw Hat Pirates' domain. Elbaf also holds strategic significance. Its location in the New World, combined with the strength of its inhabitants, makes it a natural fortress. I think that if the Straw Hat Pirates manage to establish a solid alliance with the giants, it will not only strengthen their position in the New World, but also send a clear message to the other Yonkou and the world government that Luffy is consolidating himself as a global power. Additionally, Usopp's connection to the giants, especially after the events in Dressrosa, may play a crucial role in this process. Perhaps Usopp will become a bridge between the Straw Hats and Elbaf, earning the giants' trust and helping establish this alliance. Another territory that could fall under the Straw Hat sphere of influence is Fishman Island. From the start, Fishman Island has been a place of great importance for Luffy and his crew. In Chapter 648, Luffy declares that he will make Fishman Island his territory, protecting it from external threats. I believe that as Luffy approaches his goal of becoming the Pirate King, he will fulfill this promise. Fishman Island, with its strategic location under the Red Line, would be a vital point for navigation and trade in the world of One Piece. Besides Elbaf and Fishman Island, other territories may be added to the Straw Hats' domain as they progress on their journey. I think places like Wano, which has already proven to be a place of resistance and strength, could also align with the Straw Hats. After Kaido's defeat, Wano was freed, but it still faces challenges in rebuilding its society. Perhaps Momonosuke and the other leaders of Wano see Luffy as a reliable ally and decide to form an alliance with him, consolidating Wano as part of his sphere of influence. Another interesting point is how the territories of the Straw Hat Pirates would reflect Luffy's values and personality. Unlike other Yonkou, who rule based on fear and strength, I believe Luffy's territories would be more grounded in mutual trust and respect. He wouldn't be a leader who imposes his authority, but someone who inspires loyalty through his actions and character. This unique approach could attract allies from all parts of the world, expanding his influence even further. However, this territorial expansion would also bring challenges. I think Luffy and his crew would have to deal with the repercussions of taking these territories, especially regarding the world government and the other Yonkou. Possessing strategic locations like Elbaf and Fishman Island would put the Straw Hats on a direct collision course with powerful forces, including the Marines and the Five Elders. Perhaps Im-sama sees Luffy as an even greater threat, leading to more intense confrontations as the story moves toward its climax. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.